Hey everybody, it's Callous, live action as I've been doing whenever I can in CI7. This is round 3, which is all lower bracket action, meaning it is an elimination game. Elimination match, in fact. No one will be eliminated for losing this game. So, Caloom on the bottom, Dice on the top. They both have T-Tar, doesn't tell us anything whatsoever. As we know, T-Tar could be a bazillion sets. Could be Dragon Dance, could be mixed, could be strictly physical. It could be a substitute variety. It could be Taunt Toxic. Normally, clicking EQ turn 1 into T-Tar is not the optimal play. T-Tar mirror match, EQ is usually not what you want to do. The only reason I could think maybe is, if it either has CB or if it has a way to punish the standard switches, which would be Skarmory certainly, and the other one being Swampert, which maybe is Taunt Toxic going on here for Dice. Even then, is Toxic worth eating Surf for EQ? Not sure. But either way, they're both going to stay in and Rock Slide and struggle, actually. So I guess Caloom thought that even though he got taunted, maybe Dice was going to switch out. But as we see, that is clearly not the case. And we get confirmed here, what I said, it is in fact Taunt Toxic. So the full set, all 4 moves, now already known for the lead set for Dice. I quite like this T-Tar in general. I like that set, but whether it gets anything done here or not, unclear. Starmie gets shown briefly, as does Bliss. Fire Blast there. It outspeeds it as well, so that is a speed investment Fire Blast Bliss, probably specifically for this matchup, to get ahead of Skarm and really nail it there. That was not the most exciting Fire Blast I've ever seen, just 54%. You would think that it would do more, but perhaps not that invested for Bliss, and perhaps a very, very specially bulky Skarmory from Caloom. So Skarm Bliss for Caloom, very well might be Skarm Bliss for Dice as well, but he's only shown the 2 pokes. And then Wish comes down, not clear. Ooh, he's going to Armaldo. Fair enough. We haven't seen a ton of Armaldo, but it is not its first appearance in CI7. Knockoff here, pretty free. Bliss, I guess T-Wave or something could punish. I don't know about switching to Swampert there. That seems like one of the worst things to get knocked off. I guess he views it as it doesn't look like Caloom is going to have a physical sweeper on what is clearly a pretty stally team. So maybe Swampert as a wall that would generically stop things like a Metagross, an Aerodactyl, a DD-Tar. Maybe that's not as applicable in this matchup since Caloom seemingly almost certainly doesn't have things like that. We don't know his last poke, but it seems like a very stally team. So maybe he realizes, just as a heads-up play based on this specific matchup, that Swampert isn't as good or as valuable as it would be in other matchups. Taunt there, and Spikes, that might also get knocked off, and it does. So 1-to-1 on Spikes at the moment. We know that at least Caloom has a spinner. Dice very well may have something in the back as well, possibly his own Starmie. It could be Doll, but typically Doll and Swampert, you can run it, but not fantastic together, generally speaking. Substitute coming down, as does Soft Boiled. That very well might be a 404 Rachi, therefore a 101 HP sub. And it's going to start to calm mind up, and we'll see if Caloom can find an answer for that. Armaldo does not have phasing moves, but he eats the Thunderbolt okay at 31%. Should be able to take 2 more. And now Skarm switches in, so Rachi out of the way despite being +1, and EQ Armaldo going to be the answer. Dice shows his last poke as Aerodactyl, immediately killed by Stab Rock Slide there, so Caloom either anticipated that or just wanted to take a shot in the dark if something like the Skarm came in, which of course wouldn't care about EQ or knockoff. I don't know if that was greedy for Dice or very on point for Caloom, but that super duper obviously isn't what Dice wanted there. He's going to lose his arrow for the first knockout of the match for free, and that poke probably could have been pretty threatening here, but he's going to lose it, and it does absolutely nothing. It doesn't get a single attack off. It just gets sniped by the Stab Rock Slide. Caloom with the early lead in this one. Starmie coming in as Blissey comes in. Could recover here, could rapid spin, does opt for the latter. and Hidden Power Grass. So this Bliss is Fire Blast, Ice Beam, HP Grass, and I mean certainly Soft Boiled as the last move. Funky set, but this is Dice we're talking about. He's known for his weird set and for his unconventional building style. He busted out Rhydon Roselia last round. Probably the first and last Rhydon that we're going to see. And he managed to make it work. The team had synergy. He got the victory. It was cool to see. Dice is a weird builder in basically every tier. He does his thing. The results are the results. So finally, Caloom has had enough, doesn't want to sit there and wait to be hit by a critical hit, goes to his own Bliss, which is going to completely wall the other Bliss, and he's going to float a wish that he can give to whoever he likes. Going to try to give it to Starmie, and Dice is going to not allow that by roaring, so the Armaldo also takes it, but didn't need it nearly as badly, and Dice gives himself a chance to kill the Starmie there with a crit plus the sand, but crit did not come. Gonna drill peck again, same damage roll as before, 28%. Probably just another recover, yep. And this one a little bit less at 27, but Starmie has largely stabilized here, and indeed, out it goes. Good thing that the Skarm didn't stay into ET Wave there. It's gonna be Bliss instead, who obviously doesn't care about it. And now T-Tar reappears. Bliss full paras, so good opportunity for the T-Tar to get a free something or other off. We don't actually know what it wants to do yet. Hidden Power, seemingly Grass or Bug. I'm going to say that was probably Hidden Power Grass aimed at Swampert there, which did not come. Rapid Spin gets rid of the spike and Drill Peck, but we know that it's going to be Recover in a moment. It's going to get him back up to 95. And there's Drill Peck again, and Dice is saying GG in real time. There's no way all his stuff, I mean, they might be ahead of us, but there's no way that all his stuff got knocked out the old-fashioned way. Is Dice conceding, like, okay, I can't break this, you killed my arrow, I'm never going to get through? It very well may be one of those premature, I'm not going to break this kind of concessions, but there's no way that all his stuff got KO'd. They can't be that far ahead in real time, can they? I could just click skip to end, but I want you guys to watch it as it happens, just as I am. We're going turn by turn, it's live. They very well may be playing in such a way where they're skipping on through, but that doesn't make as good of viewing content. Of course, if Game 2 begins, I will get us right into that, but going through the motions here, man, they must have been considerably ahead of us. They're playing at lightning speed. I didn't see the timer at all in this one, and we saw the GG on our end a dozen turns ago at this point, and they're still going, so it really does speed you up quite noticeably by skipping through. And they did start Game 2, which I don't want to miss, so I guess we're going to go ahead and skip to end. Where did this end? Okay, it ended on the next turn. That's not so bad. Turn 53 is the final turn. No time to talk about stuff. Let's get into Game 2. But Caloom does go up a game. So Dice is going to need back-to-back victories to continue on, or he'll be out with a 1-2 record. And Caloom, our kind of sort of play-in player, would have a relatively impressive 2-1 if he can get the victory either here or in a theoretical Game 3. So a Skarm lead obviously had no interest in a Zapdos lead, but this is pretty good for Caloom that he gets Magneton in against a seeded Skarm, which is going to ensure its death because it takes it out of range to where it's a roll. If it's holding Magnet, then it's always going to get him there. So it's a Pokemon advantage again for Caloom. In fact, Dice has not yet knocked out a poke in this entire match, but there is the one layer of spikes that Caloom may or may not be able to remove. Here comes Bliss. And DD, fair enough. Dice is just like, alright, fuck this, I'm attacking now. Got to be very aware of Ice Beam, but it is a Sandless game at the moment, so if that is a somewhat bulky Mence, it can certainly possibly survive that Ice Beam. That crit's going to make it tough, and thank God for Caloom it's a Sandless game, apparently. I'm very surprised that he doesn't stay in soft-boiled there. That seems like a clear mistake to me for Caloom. Why would you switch out there after the T-Wave turn? Isn't the Blissey just dead now when it switches in? Maybe that's why he switched out, so he can use it as fodder, but I definitely disagree. I think Caloom really butchered that. I think not only is that a mistake, but a relevant mistake. I understand wanting to have fodder, and it is valuable, but I definitely, in Caloom's shoes, absolutely 100% of the time, would have clicked soft boiled there. Remember, the crit damage from the hidden power did 89%, so a non-crit would not kill him there. It would only do about half that. You would benefit from recovering, and there's always the possibility as well that it's simply full paras. So I think he absolutely made a mistake by not going for soft boiled there. Also, I think I recognized it several turns ago at this point, but I believe I know this team, and the curse gives me even further confirmation. This is a team that I shared in our Mushi League server, which is probably where Caloom found it. This is a team that ABR got over 1,800 on ladder with. Very well-known squad that we had used a couple times in Mushi, like I said. The last poke, if it is in fact that team, is an Aerodactyl. Is an Adamant Aerodactyl specifically. And that critical hit obviously matters for Caloom, because even though it would have done a ton, like I said, it is Adamant. That would not have killed if not for the critical hit. So there has been some irrelevant hacks and some irrelevant crits in this game. Still think Caloom really fucked up by not clicking soft boiled with Blissey, but we'll see if it ends up mattering. Aerodactyl is locked on double edge here. It's got choice span, as most Aerodactyls do. He's going to have to get out of the way, and Meta knows that Swampert's coming in, so he's going to go for Psychic. It does a lot, but he has no chance of killing here without a critical hit. And he switches out, I guess, playing around HP Grass, which is sometimes, but not very often, paired with Psychic. Again, I don't think I like the way that Caloom played that. I personally would have stayed in and either protected or attacked. But I don't know that dancing around is getting him particularly far. That's going to be HP Fire from Meta, which is a more common pairing with Psychic. It is probably just Meteor Mash, Psychic, HP Fire, Boom, which is the standard set for Mixed Gross. I think that that is way more common and probably better than, say, HP Grass Thunder Punch. And he's going to get a Meteor Mash off here, but the Leech Seed should finally deter him. Damage was done, but finally that threat is going to be temporarily dealt with. Salamence is definitely a threat to Celebi here. HP Flying would do quite a bit, but it is paralyzed as well, so Celebi could probably just Leech Seed it or get an attack off if you want to go that way. The fact that Mence is paralyzed obviously is going to make it considerably less dangerous than it otherwise would be. And we have our first remote pause in what has been a giant clicker fest with these two. I really feel like they have both been clicking, and maybe in Caloom's case a little bit too much. I'm still mad at him for that Blissey play, man, that I think is blatantly a mistake. But Caloom is still in pretty good shape to win this game. He is up 6-5. I mean, on paper anyway. The Blissey we know is dead. There's no spinner. It dies the moment it comes in on that spike, so it is effectively 5-4. Missing Leech Seed is dangerous here. And DD is interesting as well. That was probably anticipating Leech Seed, willing to take the seed in exchange for doing as much damage as he can here. And now we've got basically a tie game, actually, because the Blissey's dead as well, as we discussed. So it's basically 4-4 here. And Caloom is going to make it less close by landing the Rock Slide. A miss there would have been quite poor, but the RNG cooperates. He hits as he's supposed to do 9 times out of 10. And now we've got this situation again where Meta is coming in on an Aerodactyl that is locked on something that it resists, and now it can do its thing. Just has to make the prediction. See if he clicks Psychic here, just goes boring old Mash. There's no way that you boom here if you're Dice. The meta's way too healthy. There's no reason to boom. So one of the attack moves, Mash, Psychic, HP Fire, surely coming down here. Just a matter of what he predicts is going to happen on the other side. We can do a quick health check while we wait for him to make that decision. Celebi at full, Magneton burnt in at 76%, Swampert at 47%, and Blissey, as we know, is basically death fodder at this point. There is the Mash, the Monster Mash, with an attack raise, which definitely matters in this situation. The base Mash was not that exciting. It did only 28%. Mixed Gross can't really afford to invest much, sometimes not at all, into the attack stat, which is why that did so little. But he's going to use the Blissey fodder now. We'll see if it's worth it. Magneton gonna be the plan. This is not going to be enough to kill, but it is going to be really annoying with the Sub-Seed trap. He's not going to be able to lock it indefinitely the way that he could normally because of the burn, but it's still going to be real annoying, and he's going to soften him up to the point where eventually he could just get him with T-Bolt. He's going to lose his Magneton as well, but this is one way to deal with it. I'm surprised that he didn't sub again there, but I guess this is just as well. And the Aerodactyl is going to have to reveal what move it clicks, which actually makes this relatively awkward, but I think you're supposed to just Rock Slide here because the other two left, Zapdos obviously not about to eat a Rock Slide, and then Gengar doesn't really like it either. There's no other move that you could lock in here that hits both of those. If he were to Rock Slide and miss and get boomed on, that would be so bad for him, but that's the play. You click Rock Slide and you hope that it cooperates. And man, the discipline to switch out there. That's pretty crazy. I think a lot of players would have stayed in and Rock Slid again. Isn't it just the same situation now? Or worse, doesn't Gengar just kill you? Taunt prevents recover. I guess he's just trying to get any chip that he can on Gengar to be absolutely sure that it's in range. It is an adamant Aerodactyl here, so certainly from 78%, I would think it can handle the damn Gengar, but time will tell. He's going to have to rely on Rock Slide. There's no other. You're not going to HP flying through the Zapdos. You're not going to double edge through the Gengar. And then obviously Earthquake, not a move that you're inclined to click against a Flyer and a Levitator. So largely the same spot as before. I guess what Caloom has accomplished is he's gotten some chip on the Gar, and I guess that does matter. This is a sandless game, so lefties do continue to happen. Hidden power there, like I said, keeping the Gengar largely within range of where the Adamant Arrow should be able to get him. And with this particular Gengar set, awkwardly, it doesn't really do much to Celebi. Will-O-Wisp, Giga Drain, Taunt, Thunderbolt, like I said, not exactly the anti-Celebi set. I wonder if he thinks that the Zapdos has a chance to survive the Rock Slide from the Aerodactyl. I wonder if it's a really bulky Zapdos and he thinks that it's got a chance to survive. But if he knew that it were Adamant Arrow and that he has no chance to survive, I wonder how that would change things. But the Aerodactyl should just clean this up. And I'm seeing GGs, not GG, but GGs, which makes me think that Caloom did finish this. And it's probably not too far ahead of us, because all that has to happen here is he hits 2 Rock Slides and we're done. The crit there didn't matter. Gengar's never surviving. And now as long as he connects, Zapdos is never surviving that. Like I said, it's an Adamant Arrow, so no matter how damn bulky your Zapdos is, never ever going to live there. And indeed, Caloom does take it down 2-0 over Dice. Who would have called that? And our kind of sort of play-in player, Caloom, has himself a nice little 2-1, which he should really be proud of. That's better than most players are going to do in CI, certainly in their first CI. And he's going to take out Dice, who's a steady CI performer. Came into this CI, I believe, with a 500 record over the course of a lot of matches. That in and of itself is far better than most people. It is difficult to go 500 in this tournament. Really cool for Caloom, really showing that he belongs. I think he's on a free roll from here on out. I think even if he goes out next round 2-2, hats off. Good job getting here, dude. And then anything beyond that, 3 wins, 4 wins, it just looks that much more impressive. I think that Caloom, like I said, is largely on a free roll and should just feel good about what happens no matter what from here on out. So good on him. He's going to take down Dice. I don't think that was the outcome that most people expected, but gets him 2-0, doesn't even let it go to a third game. Well done. Nothing else to say. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We're over $2,000 now with some recent donations. If you can help get us to 26, beat last year's total, please consider doing that. If you've been enjoying CI, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next match. Thanks for watching.